about, your coaching with Britt, like from the very beginning?
So Britt and I met last week regarding this particular unit about what she wanted to do, and she wanted to do fractions in her class, and she wanted to have student evidence. She wanted to record as to what their understanding was. So I gave her two options, like, do you want to do an iMovie of them explaining the whole process, but she wanted them to do the math problem, so she wanted to try out explain everything as to how she could use that in this particular matter. So we discussed what she was going to teach, and then we kind of went over how explain everything works, and she decided to do that.
Okay.
So that was our pre-meeting. And then yesterday I went into her class and I actually watched her give instructions to her kids.
Okay.
So she had very clear-cut directions on her whiteboard saying
For the project.
for the project.
Explaining the project.
Yes, as to what her expectation was. So she's like, you've got to have, she had rubric expectations. She was like, we're not going to use any multimedia for the first video. She
Okay.
just wanted to make sure that only they were going to draw and talk for the first video that they made. She emphasized on digital citizenship a lot and had a brief talk about it. She was like, it has to be concrete. It's no abstract stuff. And she was like, your oral thing that you explain has to be very clear. So she set out her guidelines as to what was really expected. She also had them pair up as a team, and she decided which kid was going to work with which kid. And that was pretty much it. So she gave the directions to them, and then she had a storyboard where she wanted them to script exactly what they were going to say and everything. And then she also showed them how explain everything works. She had a video. She also had an example for them, for something to fall back on. So that was.
Did they watch a whole tutorial before the lesson?
She had a link on her blog. She didn't take up the class time. She wanted to make sure that because some kids already knew, they don't have to go through it, but then the kids who wanted to watch, they could watch at their own pace. So she had that, and then she had an example of one student having done this project in the past.
Okay.
So
Well,
yeah, that was yesterday's
like
class.
a good chat that you had with her. And like when you came into the classroom, your coaching was great. Some of the things that I noticed that you did really well, you knew the tool really well, and you were able to, convey how to use it. You redirected Britt, because I know that she said, I just want them to play around. So when you just have no direction for the kids like that, sometimes, the kids get lost. They don't know what they're supposed to do. So I think that was good. You let her, say, okay, let's play around for like 5 minutes, and then let's give them something to do. And you set clear, goals of, okay, this is what I want you to do. And I think that's going to really help their projects, because the things that they had to do are things that they have to do in their project. So that was really good. And then when you gave some direct instruction about what those goals were that the kids had to do, you made sure that they were all paying attention and that all of the iPads were facing down, and then you also asked for understanding again. So you asked the kids, okay, so what are the directions again? So those are some really key things about just good instruction, good communication. So one thing that I noticed that I would just maybe do beforehand is, and I know that you met with Britt before, but I feel like she did not know the tool well enough, and you spent a lot of time with her, coaching her on how to use the tool during this. So I think if you met with her and with also the other EAL teachers and that were in the room and had a little session and then gave them some homework, okay, go watch the tutorial, play with it, and when we do this lesson, be prepared to walk around and help the kids with any of their questions. So if the teachers were a little bit more involved, I think that would have given some more support in the classroom. Because like I was walking around too, I was helping too, and I think that really helped having another person. But I think if the teachers also, because they were kind of just standing there and not engaging with the kids because they didn't know the tool themselves. So I think as a coach, it's helpful because with technology, there's so many kids and there's so many questions that come about
Right.
that it's hard to help everybody at once if there's only one person in the room. So if everybody is trained on what they're doing and stuff, and then they can, you know, really help out the kids, I think then the time is used really efficiently.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's basically my only suggestion.
I think between today and tomorrow, I'll see if I can find some time and sit with Deanna, Britt, and Baller, because I know that Britt knows some, but I think if we go over this once before tomorrow, because tomorrow she's going to finalize, it will give her some more direction on finishing up the project.